Good morning, and thanks for the invitation to let me share my views on why the oil and gas industry can play an important part in the energy transition and how we position Aker BP to take a leading role. But first, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kalle EnergyWeek, everybody says Kalle, and I'm the CEO of Aker BP. Not everybody knows Aker BP, so let me start with a few key facts. The two companies that merged in 2016, BP in Norway and the Norske, owned by Aker BP, is the two companies behind Aker BP. Aker BP is owned by Aker, which owns 40%, BP, which owns 30%, and noted on the Oslo Stock Exchange, where other shareholders owns 30%. Our vision is simply to create the leading independent offshore E&P company, and to me, this is a continuous journey. We are operator of 5 hubs offshore Norway and partners of the giant Johan Sverdrup field. And we have delivered a total shareholder return since 2016 of above 50%, which I think is quite unique in this space when you include the turmoil we have been through. We have total reserves and resources, giving us a resource life of almost 25 years at the current production level. And in 2020, we aim to produce between 200 and 220,000 barrels of oil equivalents at a production cost of $7 to $8 per barrel. CO2 emissions are prognosed to be less than 5 kilograms per produced barrel of oil equivalent. That's inclusive of oil and gas. And to me, this low emission certainly is an important measure for us. In general, ESG topics and particular CO2 emissions and climate change has taken the center stage in the strategic discussions in the energy companies of this world. And we are facing dramatic dilemmas with no easy answers nor quick fixes. A growing energy demand based on a growing population. Over the next period, there will be 2 billion more people populating this planet. And a continued human and economic progress for everybody implies strong energy demand over the next decades. But at the same time, we know that we have to reduce the CO emissions. They need to come down in order to reach the goals in the Paris Agreement. In this context, Aker BP's most important contribution as a pure-play oil and gas company is threefold. First, we want to return the value that we create to our stakeholders. We want to produce as efficiently as possible to return the maximum value from oil and gas resources to owners and society. Investment in renewables is not a part of Aker BP's strategy, as it does not fit our business model, does not fit our capital structure, and generates significantly less returns than our current alternatives. Our owners, on the other hand, are likely to be better equipped to redeploy capital generated by Aker BP in other sectors, such as turning our revenue into a fundamental part of the solution. Second, we are committed to reducing our emissions from our operations. I am surprised by the amount of reductions which can be achieved, for example, using digital technologies with limited capital exposure. We will continue to push hard to reduce waste in our operations and thereby improving energy efficiency. And thirdly, the energy transition is not just about how we produce energy, but also about how we generate new industries and new business opportunities. Aker BP, together with our main owner Aker, is determined to play a central role in this part of the puzzle as well. And let me mention some good examples. Our participation in Cognite now may be the most interesting industrial software company in Norway. It's one example. Born in oil and gas, but with technology and competency far more generally applicable. I will come back to our close collaboration with Cognite shortly. Second, the establishment of the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution with a global focus on ocean and environment, established by World Economic Forum in collaboration with Aker BP, Aker and the other Aker companies. The objective is to share data, contribute knowledge and execute projects with a tangible impact on ocean and climate. And third, we recently entered into an agreement with Aker Offshore Wind aimed at accelerating the process of decarbonizing oil and gas assets and realizing offshore wind in Norway at large scale. Aker Offshore Wind is taking a role to develop and operate the wind parks. Aker BP will contribute with industry and technology competency, and we will be a potential customer of electricity from offshore wind along other operators. You will hear more about Aker Offshore Wind in a separate session at the webinar. However, in order to be in the position to be a part of the coming energy transition, we need to dramatically improve the way we run our business. I truly believe that the winners of the future oil and gas market will be the companies with the ability to lower emissions and lower costs. Because a transitioning world will need the most carbon and cost-efficient barrels of oil to be produced. And this happens to be at the core of Aker BP's strategy, as it's been for a few years already. Going forward, we are targeting an emission intensity of less than 5 kilograms per barrel. Compared to the world average, this is about a third of the current emission levels. We also remain firm on our target of pushing down the cost per barrel produced to less than $7. In 2020, the turmoil has been dramatic for all of us. COVID and the ensuing collapse of the oil market, driving down demand and thus prices, have changed the way we look at oil and gas in the future. To me, this is a VUCA world. This volatility will continue for the years to come. For Aker BP, our strategy remains unchanged. In fact, we need to speed up our effort to lower the emissions and lower cost in order to survive in a volatile world. Thus, in Aker BP, we are truly improvement maniacs. In order to achieve our strategic measure of low cost and low carbon, we need to speed up our improvement program. But it can't be done without structure, and our improvement agenda is structured around certain pillars. Executing our core operations through partnership and alliances is one such pillar. For us, alliances is about creating one team. Aker BP takes on a dual role in this model. We are still the customer and overall responsible as an operator. However, we are also moving both scopes of work and delivery resources into the alliance teams. The foundation is simply a shared belief in this new approach to value creation. By removing waste, for example, interface engineering, we are delivering significant cost improvements. At some of the subsea alliance projects, we have delivered 20 to 40% cost improvement per plan to actual development. There is no doubt in my mind that this is the way forward for the industry, and we're happy to see that other oil companies and companies in other sectors are doing the same. And in fact, we at Aker BP never invented this idea, we stole it, this time from the auto manufacturers. Digitalization is another extremely important part of our improvement agenda. And in short, we have to move from talking about digitalization to actually doing something about it. And again, this is not simply because it's fun, and it is fun as you will see in a moment, but we need to step up our digital ability to take out value and remove waste in order to survive. Our vision is to digitalize all our operations from cradle to grave. And we think the result will be increased productivity, better quality, reduce the time we spend on different processes, and at the same time reduce environmental impact and improve the safety of our employees. To realize our digital vision, we have to prioritize, use and share huge amounts of data. And traditionally, you find the data in many sources in silos, and they remain a major barrier to digitalization. Our response is linked to Cognite's industrial data platform called Cognite Data Fusion. It is made so that partners and clients can collaborate and coordinate enormous amounts of data using cognitive computing. And the impact is that this platform has enabled us to make use of all the data we generate and consume. CEO of Cognite, Jon Markus Lervik, will share more in-depth information in a webinar session later this week, but let me just give you a couple of examples of what this software product enables us to do, this time offshore. We have a vision stating that we will work towards a fully digitalized and paperless operation of all Aker BP operated assets. This will support daily operation for both land-based and offshore employees. At all Aker BP operated assets, we are making a radical change in terms of operating aids. We implement digital tools such as mobile phones and other handheld devices. And a fun fact is that Aker BP is in fact the largest buyer of this device in Europe. We collect data and information from multiple sources and make it available on the operator's device that she or he uses operationally at the platform. As an example, the technician can simply check the level of a tank or the status of the equipment that he or she has been working on recently. The operator can scan a tag with the camera, check tag information, look at the trend, look at real-time data, documentation, access other data levels, for example, filling level, check the pressure, look for other deviations, everything you need to know before starting a job. And you have all the documentation available in the pocket. There is no need to print lots of sheets of paper, and you don't need to spend time running back and forth. Using robotics is a strong part of a digital vision as well. The robot dog Spot was recently tested to complete its autonomous mission at the Skarv installation in the Norwegian Sea. Data from Spot was available and sorted in Cognite Data Fusions in milliseconds, and Spot was remotely controlled from an office onshore, hundreds of kilometers away, demonstrating how robots and digital twins can have synergies and enhance each other. In addition, data from an operator round was collected to analyze if the sensor stack on Spot was sufficient to comply with this proposed task. And I have to admit, besides being important, this is actually quite fun. So to sum up, let there be no doubt that Aker BP takes the climate challenge very seriously. I am convinced that the climate challenge can only be solved if the oil and gas companies are mobilized using the full scale of their technical and commercial capabilities, and that the chosen solutions have a global impact on CO2 emissions. Aker BP wants to take a leading role in the energy transition by delivering affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all. Thank you for your attention.